you were a bit aggravated, right? You were just aggravated. Everything was just, I can't stand this place, right? And I thought it was really nice where you went from that sense of aggravation in Lagos, and then you started to see all these different places. And then over time, your language changed, and the tone of your words changed, right? Into a sense of appreciation of this place, and in some cases, sadness. And then by the time you got to the village, there was then this sense of belonging, but also alienation, right? That I thought, wow, I mean, and some of us even feel that. Even myself, I was in Nigeria until I was 12 years old. And even when I visit, I find that I can't really make jokes, right? In the same way that my cousins who are there can make jokes, right? And that always gives me this sense of alienation. Having been, in the village, in your village, and feeling that sense of belonging, did that make you want to go back again and again to Nigeria?
It did, but it hasn't actually worked out that way because it costs loads of money to go back there. So I find that just in the last few years, whenever I have travelled, it's always off the back of going to a literary festival or something like that. So it's it's expensive. I mean, I look at when I was growing up in the 80s, people would go back and forth. A lot of people still go back and forth. And I'm like, how do you afford that? I don't understand how these people can fly back and forth like 4 times in 1 year.
Plowing through a flurry of constant stimulation, floating on fictitious highs of pleasure and paradise, emptiness in disguise.
People say, you should sort of campaign against oil, but it's just, to me, that's very vague. So, for me, I'm kind of like, well, there are so many other issues besides oil. There are loads of people, working in oil. So, I'm still trying to figure out where my place is and how, I can help. But what this trip did was just to help me, I can now just get on a plane, go to Nigeria, without knowing anyone, and just feel my way around, And there was a time when, prior to 2007, 2008, I would have just floundered. I would have, freaked out if you dropped me in Lagos or Calabar, and I was like, I wouldn't have known how to negotiate my way around it. So it's nice. This trip just took that fear out of Nigeria, and I'm really glad that I made it.
Yeah. And in terms of also, I liked the points where you said, for your father, it gave you a deeper appreciation of his work, of who he.
Oh yeah, I mean.
And all the things that he had to go through to even get to the point.
Yeah, I mean, Nigerians can be so. It's just such a hard, tough society to be in. People want to take you down for no reason. You can do something really good and people will just still find fault. You just look at the way, writers are attacked and, entrepreneurs are attacked, and it's just like, oh my God, you really have to contend with that. And people are ruthless. They will do whatever it takes to maintain the status quo if it suits them. And so my father, his campaign, I always knew what he was doing was brave, and he knew what he was doing. He wasn't one of those accidental martyrs. He told me 3 years before he died that might happen, and I was really angry because I thought he was being all far-fetched and scaremongering. But he knew the risks, and he took them nevertheless. So that's real bravery.
Yeah. And I felt the unfortunate thing is that, which you brought up, that people look at that, instead of people looking at what he did and saying, okay, I'll pick up from there, it inspired me to be brave. People actually showed that Abacha succeeded in shutting people up because they said, well, I don't want to die.
Yeah. Yeah, you know.
He did that. He died. They killed him. I'm not going there. I'm not. So people are sort of, they know what the problems are, but they won't speak up against the problems because they don't want to die.
Yeah,
and,
that was,
I thought that was
case.
unfortunate.
Yeah, I think in the 90s that was definitely the case. Now that we've had democracy and, you know, and after my, democracy, after my book was published, you know, 2012, and we had the oil protests and whatnot, and I think, you know, for the first time, it was a real wake-up call. I think Nigerians put up with stuff.
Yeah.
You know, we'll put up with a lot, and but I think oil subsidy, that is the straw that breaks the camel's back, you know, and that's the one thing that will actually get people, you know, onto the streets.
Nobody knows when you've been told emptiness in disguise. Hello, 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 it's all a lie. Hello, 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 it's all a lie. They pull the wool over your eyes. I hope you can read between the lines. They'll pull the wool over your eyes. It's all a lie. Thirsty for the lights, open up your eyes. Don't you know, child, there's so much more to life. Thirsty for the lights, open up your eyes. Don't you know, child, there's so much more to life. Hello, 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 hello. Hello, 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 of course. Hello, 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 it's all a lie. Hello, 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 it's all a lie. They pulled the wool over your eyes. I hope you can read between the lines. They'll pull the wool over your eyes. It's all a lie. Thanks, y'all. So we're gonna do one more song for you guys. This is I'm a jazz lover.